place of blindness because we say, God, I trust you. But every time we got a situation, we go through depression, we go through stress. And a lot of times, yes, you're going to be in a place where you're like, God, I don't know how you're going to do this. Could you imagine David? When David had to go to Goliath? Could you imagine it? Going to Goliath, this big old guy, this guy said, I'm going to feed you to the fowls of the air. He said, you know what? I'm going to knock you down, little boy. You don't know who you don't know who you messing with. And David picking up 5 stones, this guy got a 100-pound sword in his hand. This guy said, I'm going to pick you up, spit you out. How many of you had situations in your life looking that big? It looked bigger than you. Looked like it was impossible. But all you had was a little. All you had was something so small. But David worked with what he had. And he threw the stones. And Goliath came down. I want to let you know that even though things look blindsided in your life, I can just imagine David's brother saying, boy, you crazy. Are you blind or something? Could you really see how big this guy is? David said, my God is able to do all things. He was like, y'all wasn't with me when I was tending to my father's sheep and a bear came out and I ripped the bear down with my bare hands. Y'all wasn't around. See, there are moments in our life where God does things that we should be able to give God praise. There are times that, I remember one time I had a bill that was due that was about $3,000, and at the last minute God did it. And so now that I got a new bill in my life, I shouldn't be wondering, God, how am I going to get through this? Remember times I didn't know how I was going to get through college, didn't know how I was going to get a paper done, and somehow God gave me the strength, and I was like, God, thank you. So many times in my life where things seemed as though I was blind, it seemed like my ideal of God was blinded. But I had to go back and reflect on the things that God had done. That's what this blind guy did. He told the Pharisees wanted to kill him. The people vocation really messed them up, the Pharisees, because their mindset couldn't fathom what God was really doing, what God was doing through Jesus. Jesus asked them a question. He said, how can you say that you're of God and you want to harm me? You want to kill me? Because I'm going around teaching the truth and that I'm going around doing the things of my Father. How could you really serve the same God that I serve? The disciples, how can you say you serve God and in reality, you don't even know Him, you don't even trust Him, you don't even believe in Him? How in the world can you trust Him? That's the question today. I once was blind, and now I see. You can see again. I remember one of the most famous songs, and I'm not a singer, I'm not going to sing it, but Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, and now I see. It's amazing that even though you were blind to something, God can open your eyes again. I love the way that Jesus did it. He goes down to the ground. He takes dirt. When he makes the dirt, he takes the dirt. He put his spit in it. Now, some of y'all wouldn't want this to go in your eyes. I don't care how blind you were. Somebody spit on some mud and put this on your eye. He made some masks. You know, like when we go to the beauty place and get the mask on your face. It was similar to that. Y'all know y'all be having green masks and brown masks, right? Y'all masters that they put on, your beauty makers. He took that clay, put it on his eyes. Watch this. The reason that he took clay out of all the other things that he did is that he took us back to the book of Genesis, when the Bible says that God formed man out of the dust of the world, and he breathed into their nostrils. Jesus began to share with us who he was right then and there. He said that I am the creator of the universe. Right there, he took the dirt and he healed the man's eyes. Who else could do this but a healer? But a creator. And the guy could see again. It seems like a lot of times when God does something in our life, he has us do something that's unmeasurable or something that looks crazy. Naaman, he told Naaman to go dip dipped 7 times in dirty water, Jordan River. So I was like, you know what, I ain't dipping in no, Naaman at first. He was like, go tell Elijah, does he know who I am? I am the general. I am the Naaman. And you telling me to go dip in I know the Lord got some clean water that I can get in. God said, I want you to get in the dirty water, and I want you to go. It's amazing how God can take something that's dirty and bring cleanliness out of it. Isn't that amazing? How God can take somebody that's broken. I remember in my life, I was broken. There's been broken moments in my life where I had a form of godliness but denied the power thereof. I remember going to church every Sunday as a kid. When I was at school, I lived a different life. I was talking to all the girls. I was Mr. Playboy, doing my own thing. But on Sunday, I said, yeah, I serve you, God, because it was convenient. And in real life, I really didn't know who he was to me because I was blinded to him. And that's why I talk so much. A lot of us, we have ideas of who God is, but we really don't know him. We're blinded to him. And we shouldn't live our lives from a place of being blind when we can see, when we can walk into new places, and when we can experience him for who he is. And I want everybody here, if you didn't get nothing else out of this message, because the mics wasn't working good, because the kids are having fun and they are a distraction to us today. That's why we're going to have something for the kids next week. So they're going to get worship on and they're going to get their word at their level. But if you don't get nothing else from me, don't live your life in a place of blindness. When there's healing, there's healing. What does it look like? What does being saved really look like? Is it coming to church on Sunday? Some people think it's talking in tongues. Some people think it's shouting. I saw at the fellowship meeting, Pastor Ross came up there shouting. And a lot of us, that's how we see church. Just that's something that we do sometimes. But the church should be who we are. And so I would just really challenge everybody this week to really reflect on that very thing. Who is Jesus in my life? The second question, can he really do anything? Can he? Can he take somebody that was broken? And in conclusion, at 17 years old, I was on my deathbed. I had a blood clot in my lungs, and the doctors gave me 3 days to live. I was preaching in Gary, Indiana, and they rushed me back down to Indianapolis. I just got done preaching. Had a blood clot on my lungs. The doctors were like, if we go in, he ain't gonna make it. I remember having all these tubes in me, and I remember my grandmother, Betty, when she was here, and she was praying for me, saying, heal my grandson. I heard her saying, by his stripes we healed. And I couldn't say anything. And I remember in my mind having a conversation with God and saying, God, I preached in your name. God, I done did this. How can it be me? 17 years old on my deathbed. I was like, God, you told me I was going to preach before great people. God, you told me I was going to do all of these things. And he was like, who am I in your life? I was like, well, I preach about you. I'm a preacher. That means that I know who you are, dude. Why are you telling me? He was like, do you really love me? I was like, God, yeah, I love you. He was like, why do you hate your father? I was like, well, God, that's a good question there. Why did you let this guy not be in my life? Why did you let this guy not do this for me? Yeah, I got a problem with you with that. And he was like, how do you love me? You don't know me. You're blind to me. Because how can you love me whom you have not seen and hate your father, dislike your father? And he was like, if you will let this go, if you will forgive your father, I will give you life. And I remember being there on the deathbed. The doctors, they walk in their head. It's the second day. My grandma's crying. They like, hey, we got to get funeral arrangements together for this boy. And I remember being there, and I was like, God, you know what? You done forgave me for so much in my life. And I began to realize that my dad, his dad was an alcoholic, and his dad wasn't in his life. And so my dad was only reciprocating because he didn't know how to be the dad that I needed. And so it really wasn't his fault, but I was going around disliking him